The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 16th day of December 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can do this with you on a regular basis and pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 1075 with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman, and we'll have a news break from Teo Dill in a bit. How's everyone feeling today? How you feeling? It is what's like, you have Fantastic Friday, you have like what's Tuesday? Like is it Thankful Tuesday? No, that's Thursday, Thankful Thursday. What's Tuesday? Like Tuesdastic? Like we need something for Tuesday. Help me out, audience. Help me out. But anyway, it's Tuesday. One day closer to the end of another calendar year. And as I continue to say, hopefully it ends on a high, no matter how your year has on. Alrighty, folks. Well, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making this part of your daily routine a good one today as we welcome Chelsea McNorton on. She's a David's Islander, native Islander, and she's coming on to speak about, her role in the film Thoughts Become Things, as well as some other things. So really looking forward to the conversation. First time we've had someone in almost 1,300 episodes from the St. David's community coming on to speak about her heritage and history. The Daily Play is holiday trivia today, all right? Holiday trivia, more holiday trivia. And audience, please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, well, Angeline Butler says, Tackling Tuesday. Yep, I like that. You know what? Big shout out and so much love to Sister Angeline. Let me tell you all, Angeline, she won as one of the people who filled out the survey. And Sister Angeline came and stopped by our TDH end of year dinner last night, and she picked up her gift. And it really is awesome to see people in person. As I said, over the weekend, meeting so many people, but seeing you in person, being able to say, oh, not be just behind the computer screen. So lovely to see you, Angeline, and thank you, Tackling Tuesday. Camilla's Simmons says, terrific Tuesday. Well, that seemed easy too, terrific Tuesday. Well, happy terrific Tuesday to you all. So look, yesterday, we said that we were going to talk about a few things coming up as we address the lifeguard situation. This morning's questions are very simple, audience. What can be done to change our driving habits on our roads? Like, what can be done to change our driving habits on our roads? And also, what do you believe is the underlying issue with our driving culture? What do you believe is the underlying issue with our driving culture? What do you believe it is? Now, I just want to share something before we get into it. For those who may not have seen it, I discussed it yesterday, but the I think his chief inspector. Let me share this video with you all as we jump into the conversation. So this is from the Bermuda Police Service Facebook page. All right.
Good evening, Bermuda. The Bermuda Police Service is this evening reaching out to our community to help us reverse a current trend of collisions that we're currently experiencing. Yesterday alone, on the 12th of December, Friday, we experienced 14 reported collisions. These collisions climaxed last night with 3 very serious injury-involved collisions. In one of those collisions, 2 motorcycles crashed into each other. On our arrival, all parties involved were unconscious. A second one involved a car and a motorcycle. And the third one involved a car and a wall in Southampton. The driver of that vehicle had to be extricated from the vehicle because they were trapped. That driver was also subsequently arrested for impaired driving. This year, we have arrested 197 people for impaired driving offenses. That equates to $295,000+ paid into the courts. We need the assistance of the community to help us to reverse the current trends. If you're drinking, don't drive. Please pay attention to your driving behavior. The recklessness that we're seeing on the roads is absolutely unnecessary, and we need to reverse this trend. We're asking the community for your help.
All right, folks, you heard it. You heard it right there, right? So, I can be a bit passionate. I want to be measured in saying that I have this thing going with a friend of mine where we've been WhatsApping. Can we go 48 hours without a collision on our roads? Every time we think we are getting there, not one, not two, but multiple collisions happen. You just heard people will rush to the hospital with punctured lungs, head injury, broken limbs, and deep laceration. Families sat waiting, terrified, hoping their loved ones would make it through the night. Here we are again talking about something the Bermuda Police Service has warned us about countless times. Chief Inspector Robert Cardwell said it plainly. Safe driving habits are not optional. But too often we drive like we're invincible, like nothing can happen to us on these narrow, winding roads until it does. And by then, it's too late. We can't keep calling these accidents when so many are preventable. We can't allow this to become what it actually has, which is normal. That was one night, 4 major collisions. That's not bad luck. That's a wake-up call. So I'm asking you today, what has to change in our driving, in our culture, in our enforcement to stop this cycle of road trauma? What are your thoughts, audience? What can be done to change our driving habits, our culture on our roads? And what do you believe is the underlying issue with our driving culture? What are your thoughts on this? Nicole Hassel says, nothing more to do than just to slow down and don't drink and drive. 14 in one day is unprecedented. It's weird. We at the Daily Hour end of year dinner last night, we had this conversation. And Larry and myself are both honest. Look, folks, I told you, and Teo, we've had this conversation. Teo and I, like this when it comes to working together. But after work, I went to a bar. I'm not innocent in this because I was a person who loved a good drink and would get on my vehicle thinking, oh, I'm okay. But I was also a person who learned from other people's actions, mistakes, successes. So I agree with Nicole Hassel. It could be that simple. Slow down and just don't drink and drive. And if you're going to drink, just get a ride. The invincibility, the idea that it won't or can't happen to us. I'm very honest with you. I love my little CBD or THC drink every now and then for my relaxation. Right? But it's like medication. If the medication says, don't operate machinery or vehicles, trust me, follow that. If I'm told to take something, it's not even just about me. I don't want to put others at risk. We have a selfish, very selfish culture on our roads. As I said yesterday, speaking with my business partner as we're driving and finding out that someone has a serious leg injury, they were just minding their business, driving along, and some fool decides to overtake. And now this person's life has changed forever. That person should be responsible for supporting them for the entirety of their life. And I'm not even one to say, oh, let's make the consequences, because consequences, as you've seen, have not changed many people's behavior. And we go back, the driving test. Look, these are grown adults. And yes, I believe teaching them while they're young. But we're talking about grown adults, not puppies, dogs, like people whose minds are made and shaped. What will it take? Because if you've lost someone on our roads, you should be inspired to live differently and drive differently and act differently. We've allowed this to become our culture. I refuse to believe it is who we are. What do you believe is the underlying issue with our driving culture, and what can be done to change our driving habits on our roads? This is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. Sean Smith says, I believe the underlying issue is stress. People are drinking and speedy to relieve their stress. Back in my day, I know I'm aging myself, I sound old, but back in my day, which could be yesterday or 2 weeks ago, I used to drink for fun. It was like, fellowship to me. But I had to realize not everyone was there for fellowship and talk about football and some people were there to get away from certain problems. And if stress is the underlying issue, then there's a bigger problem here where we don't see, I have a quote in my upcoming book, right? That there are various forms of therapy. Some people go to a therapist, some people shop, do retail. Some people go to clergy, like religious person. Some people go to a bar. I have to read my book, but I don't remember what the entire thing is. The point is, the kind of therapy that we choose tells its own story. And if that, in fact, is one of the underlying issues, Sean, because we know we have a lot of undealt with trauma in our community, and we have to address it. Suzanne Ingham says the underlying issue is do care. Slow down, pay attention, focus on what's happening around you as you drive. Advanced driving. Do not forget what you learned when you were learning to drive right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the keys with teaching young people right now is ensuring that they remember these skills and understand. I'm a very defensive driver, you know. Um, I'm very defensive for the simple fact that I don't trust people. I I'm driving on the highway and I have my dash cam. And if I said to my father the other day, I said, have you ever taken your dash cam out? Because we saw some craziness. If I took my dash cam out, like the card in there, and made a video, I think you all would be shocked. Probably not, but it would show you that what Chief Inspector Robert Caldwell said, these things are so avoidable. They're not accidents. They're collisions. And if you see some of them, you would understand how avoidable they are. Again, audience, what can be done to change our driving habits on our roads? And what do you believe is the underlying issue with our driving culture? This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Tanya Cheeseman says, we need to hold ourselves and others accountable. We keep coming back to accountability. We keep coming back to accountability. Why does it seem like we don't? Want to hold one another accountable? Why do you think? So, for instance, right, I read a story somewhere recently where a family was suing a cruise ship company because their relative drank too much on the cruise and ended up dying, right? And I said yesterday, no one's really been sued in Bermuda. But that's the after effect. What we're discussing today, what can we do or what can be done to change the habits that we display on our roads? So then Ingham says, you're the first person I've heard agree with me, Jamel. You caused the injury. You should support them for the rest of their lives. Yes, it may sound harsh, but something has to change. And I don't believe that consequences are necessarily going to change that much because it's like the criminal, right? If these guys want to do things, they'll find a way to do them. Because remember, people don't do things thinking they're going to get caught or face consequences when most people don't. But maybe that will change the way people approach things. It's reckless, it's selfish, the destruction, the havoc. You know what, though? I don't think maybe the premier leads in a different way. He lets his government ministers handle things. But I don't think the premier has really ever spoken about this havoc on us. Maybe he's focused on his finance ministry. And I'm not saying him speaking will change anything, but him not speaking hasn't. Maybe that's just me looking for something to. What else, audience? What else? What are your thoughts? What can be done to change our driving habits on our roads? And what do you believe is the underlying issue with our driving culture? Tanya Cheeseman says, it also begins with our young people. I fear that the way I am seeing these young people riding their e-bikes is preparing them for bad habits on the road. I think with the young people, I think they have a better opportunity to drive safer later on in life if they get the proper training. But you have to get them while they are young. Like while they're young, have to get them while they are young. You have to. Therapy, says Carmilla Simmons. Therapy. Maybe we need therapy. Mark Arthur says, it is sad what happened on Friday night, but sadly, I'm not surprised. That's an issue in itself. We should be surprised. We should be looking at this like, oh no, this has to change. This isn't normal, right? It's bad, folks. It's really, really bad. But real quickly, audience, just one thing. What do you believe is the underlying issue with our driving culture? We've got, I think Sean Smith said, stress. Believe stress. Nicole Hassel, speed and alcohol. What do you think it is? I'm surprised no one has said this today, but distracted drivers, people on their cell phones. Like, I've seen people, no lie, it's weird to me, riding bikes with their cell phone tucked into their helmet talking. I'm like, just do what the police do and get one of those things, man. Because the fact that you're having a conversation, your attention's already not there. The other thing is now you got to make sure your phone doesn't fall out, so that's more attention given away from the road, driving, right? None of us is perfect. But I don't believe that most collisions are mistakes. I agree, they're not accidents. These are avoidable. They are avoidable. When I speak with my non-Bermudian friends and family, they always find the 1 car per household rule so interesting. Until I share a story of collision and share with them the traffic coming out of the west, and they get it. We'll end it with this comment. Camila Simmons says, some people think they are more skilled than they are. Yeah. Invincibility. I think it's so important for us all to realize that none of us is invincible. Thanks again to Titan Express and Secure. This was your daily discussion. And let's show them some love before we go to Teo Dill for your daily hour.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty. Real quickly, before we go to the news break, Michael Daniels says, Bermuda has finally realized that we need lifeguards. Maybe we need to consider a sociological evaluation. Yeah. And Manuela John said, I'm not sure if it had an impact, but years ago, drivers were disqualified from driving if caught over 60 miles per hour, or 60 kilometers. Did that make a difference? You know, the consequences conversation is interesting. I think back then, people were more afraid of consequences. Today, I don't think people really care about consequences as much. Like, I think back then, people wouldn't overtake a police officer. Today, people would overtake a police officer, if that makes sense. I think that's the difference. All right, folks, let's go to Teo Dill, see what he's got for us in the news break today.
Good morning, I'm Teo Dill, and welcome to your TDH News Break, brought to you by the great folks at Peoples. From prescriptions to daily essentials, Peoples Pharmacy is where wellness begins and community grows together. Bermuda's birth rate continues to decline, with 11 fewer babies being born in Bermuda last year versus the year before. This from Minister of Economy and Labor Jason Hayward presenting the annual report of the Registry General to the House of Assembly while identifying its key data points. Beyond the reduction in our national birth rate, this information includes that just over 75% of the local live births, which are declining, mind you, had at least one Bermudian parent, while about a quarter had parents who are both non-Bermudian. Interestingly, for the second year in a row, there were no home births at all. Also, last year, we experienced 20 less deaths than the year prior, leaving us with 602 overall. And during 2024, almost 20 more people got married than the number who got hitched in 2023. Now, if this helps at all, let's contextualize this. Bermuda is not alone in facing a declining birth rate. This is the deal across the developed world. The scary thing is that despite governments across the planet taking steps to solve the problem, nobody, and I mean nobody's been able to figure out just what to do about it.
It's difficult for policymakers to address the complexity of the cultural reasons why we are not having as many children. What really they have in their arsenal is only economic tools, and it goes well beyond that.
It's difficult for policymakers, but some are acting. In South Korea, they tried cash incentives and subsidized healthcare. As we've seen, that didn't work. In France, in January, President Macron talked of demographic rearmament and announced a plan that includes changes to parental leave. Or in Italy, which has one of the lowest birth rates in Europe, Prime Minister Meloni has announced a range of initiatives. But evidence suggests it's very difficult to reverse a falling birth rate.
$1.5 million in financial support was handed out by Premier David Burt to more than 24 community organizations at a ceremony held yesterday at St. Paul's Centennial Hall. Premier Burt explained the government's support of this category of community activity is basically essential for the overall health of our island.
Thank you for the work of which you do. For those of us who have been in club life, we know it is often thankless. We know it takes a tremendous amount of work. It takes time away from your families, and it can sometimes cause stress. But the reality is we all know why we do it. We do it because we care for our communities and we want to see the best for our young people and our future. Our job is to make sure we can support you as best as possible.
Now, here's a weird one. Bermuda is even more unique of a place than we may have originally thought, according to a recent scientific paper published in a well-known academic journal. Seismologists have discovered a never-before-seen, one-of-one massive rock that makes Bermuda appear to float in the middle of the ocean. This is from last month's publication of Geophysical Research Letters. Typically, volcanic islands are buoyed by magma plumes, which push the crust of the earth up. But for Bermuda, the volcanoes that underpin it have not been active for millions of years. The unique mass we're talking about measures more than 12 miles thick and has never been seen anywhere else in the world on any island that sits in the middle of a tectonic plate. This mass might explain why Bermuda didn't sink after the volcano shut down tens of millions of years ago. It's a really interesting story. Just Google Bermuda tectonic plates, volcanic crust, something like that, and you'll see one of many, many, many stories that have been published over the past couple days about this. And last night, you probably slept in your socks or had your heater cranked on high. You may not need so much help staying warm today, thankfully. Today's air temp floor should be about 5 degrees warmer than yesterday's, while the wind should be less intense. There should be less rain and more sun overall. The sky should be generally cloudy with a couple of light showers, but conditions should gradually settle over the next 48 hours. However, do not pack those socks away. More definitively wintry weather is obviously headed in our general direction. And that's your TDH News Break, brought to you by our friends at Peoples. I'm Teo Dill. Back to the show.
All righty. Thank you so much for that, Tay. Folks, days of the year, it's chocolate covered anything day. So I've got to ask you, what do you love chocolate on? Like, what do you enjoy chocolate on? Like desserts? Is it strawberries? Is it like what's chocolate covered ice cream? Like, what do you love chocolate? I'm gonna go first. I will go first. Chocolate covered almond. I'm gonna go for it. Chocolate covered almonds. Jada Utterbridge says chocolate covered strawberries. Okay. Yep. Ice cream says Sean Smith. Almonds, man, almonds. Like, I stole some of my dad's chocolate almonds yesterday. He knows not, probably too. But That's my thing. Chocolate covered almonds. I can go for those any and every day. But what's your favorite chocolate covered thing? Let us know. We're going to take our first break. After this break, we'll be back with our very special guest today, Chelsea McNorton. Again, we've had multiple people on to discuss their roles about the film Thoughts Become Things. If you haven't seen it, make sure you support it, folks. This is a local film with locals involved, production on screen, and I'm looking forward to the conversation with after the break. Shonette Bell says chocolate-covered strawberries. Polly Rich says strawberries, ice cream. Charles H. Jefferson II says, I love dark chocolate-covered almonds. Well, I got to watch your hands when you get it. Come over. You got Manuela John says cashews. Okay, chocolate-covered cashews. Limestone Living says chocolate-covered ginger snaps. Okay. Suzanne Ingham says chocolate, just chocolate. Jamal, just chocolate-covered chocolate. All righty. Folks, we're going to take our quick break. In the meantime, if you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We'll be back in a bit. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Take a look at our workforce for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Shoe bite? You can't say that. Oh, sorry. I'm just here practicing for my family game night this Christmas. Check it out. Shoe bite, Bermuda's own twist on the classic word guessing game, is here. Get ready for laughter, friendly chaos, and a whole lot of Bermuda flavor. And here's the best part. One lucky box has a golden ticket with a grand prize courtesy of One Communications. So visit BermudaTrivia.com to find out where to get yours today. Now, shoe bite, I'm trying to practice for my family game night.
At HSBC, how we do business in our community is as important to us as what we do for our community.
This is the 6th year that HSBC has graciously funded the She Leads program. This year we have over 30 girls who have registered from middle schools across the island to participate in this real-world experience, which exposes young girls to all kinds of traits and qualities and skills that they will need as they move forward in their leadership journey. It's a really wonderful time to be a girl in the world. There are so many opportunities open, and we want to make sure that our girls are prepared to take the lead in whatever spaces that they move into. So this program provides them with really kind of the groundwork to get those careers and those life journeys started. We want to thank HSBC so much for contributing and being the major sponsor for this program. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to have our girls participate at no cost. Everything is provided for them thanks to HSBC, and we really want to thank them for their support with this program.
Thank you to all of the charities, corporate partners, and HSBC volunteers for your commitment to our community.
Every space has a message, whether it's a store, a government office, or a doctor's waiting room. With Store Tunes Radio, transform your environment with customized music and professional messaging that keeps people informed, engaged, and at ease. Easy to use, built for organizations of every kind. Powered by Bermuda Communications Group. Store Tunes Radio, the soundtrack to better customer experiences. Visit storetunesradio.com to learn more.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Jamel Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring we can do this with you on a regular basis and pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Real quickly, folks, we've got a couple more people about their dark almonds. We've got Stacey Ann Brown says, dark chocolate covered digestive. And I saw some the other day. I was, don't do it, Jim. Don't do it. WKD Lama said, basic. I like chocolate covered nuts like Mr. Goodbar. Okay. And then Anika the Shield says, oh my God, the best chocolate covered almond I ever had. I got from a chocolatier in Geneva. That's in Switzerland, folks. Totally sinful and addictive. Well, they do chocolate like no one else over there. And then the City Town Crier says over on Instagram, dark chocolate covered cashews. All right, Town Crier. All right. Real quickly, before we bring our guest in. So last night we had our Daily Hour end of year dinner. And we played Shoe Buy. I want to ask the audience a little trivia question. Who do you think is the most competitive person that you've seen on as a Daily Hour person on the show? Who do you think is the most competitive? Because this person, I said, oh, she gonna try to fight somebody the way she is. I'm telling you, folks, Shoe Buy's gonna get you all in your emotions, right? It's taboo because you gotta guess stuff. And one person was so competitive. Okay, outside of me, Ageless Wonder, outside of me, who's the most competitive? All right. Who's the most competitive? Rosalind Famous got it. Maya. Man, if you play a game with Maya, you got to be prepared to like, because Cisco, she goes hard. All right. Yep, it's Maya. You got it, Stacey Brown. Teray's competitive, but I'm like, she's how can I put it? Stay in my lane. Like, this is not my space. But when you come into mine, I'm gonna take you down. But Maya, man, anyway, there were no fists thrown. Last night. It was a great time. However, our American friends would not be happy. They would not be happy in how the game ended. It was a tie. Both teams ended up with the same amount of points. But it's a fun game. We had fun. If you haven't played it yet, it's fun. Like fun. We had a blast last night at our dinner playing Shoe Buy, and my team didn't lose. Oh, I had Mia and Teray on my team, folks. You know, we were pretty good. So, you know, just make sure you have the right people on your team. All right? Make sure you have the right people. And honestly, don't stop speaking to your relatives, because, you know, you ever see in Family Feud where you got that one person on the team that makes you lose? It's going to happen, because not everyone is built the same. It's going to happen. All right. Enough of that. We've got a very special guest coming up, folks. We've had numerous people on to discuss the film, the roles, Books Become Things. We're excited to welcome the fourth and final person coming on to discuss their role, but also the history of St. David's natives and their heritage. And she's going to share some things that I believe not just St. David's Islanders should know, but all of us should know. Let's give a warm TDH welcome to a very special guest today, Chelsea McNorton.
Hi.
Greetings, Chelsea. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's good to be on. How are you this morning?
I'm okay, but I gotta ask you, Chelsea. I gotta ask before we get into anything. Chocolate covered what?
Chocolate covered popcorn.
Popcorn?
Yes, with some peppermint crunches on it.
You know what?
Very good.
You know what? I think that's better than Teray. Teray is convinced she's gonna get me to try pickles with popcorn.
That's good. Pickle juice popcorn. Wow.
You're one of those too, huh?
I love pickles. Wow.
Well, I see I'm outnumbered, folks, but chocolate covered popcorn, pickles and popcorn. This is a new day, folks. This is a new day. But I'll say this. I guess it's one of those don't knock it till you try it things, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Chelsea, thanks again for joining us. And for those who may not know you, just tell the audience a bit about your background, who you are, and what it is that you do.
Okay. My name is Chelsea McNorton. My birth name is Chelsea Carlington. So my family originates from St. David's. Proud to be a member of St. David's. I actually am adopted, so I was able to look into my heritage and learn a bit more about it, and I was just so excited to be a part of such a vast community with a serious background, serious history background, that I had to just join and just let everybody know who we are as a people.
You were adopted into there, or you're originally?
I'm an original St. David Islander, yes. My family originates from St. David's, and I was adopted into another family.
Got you. Yeah. And Chelsea, as a St. David's Islander and a native, what do you wish more people understood about the history and identity of St. David's Islanders?
It's quite funny that you asked me that, because that's one thing that I try and push more, is just to get people to understand, the history of Native Americans. We actually have a history month. It's November. And I just want people to recognize that we also are here. I know throughout the years, we were kind of hidden, overlooked, but we're here and we have our story to tell. And I just get really excited when we do powwows and people come and they ask us questions, and we really get to show, who we are and what we represent.
I myself learned a lot because I was at county games when I was young a lot, and back then they were only at St. David's Cricket Club, and that's where I was first introduced and understood powwows and the connection to that area in Connecticut where there's a lot of ancestral connection with St. David's. But much of St. David's, much of the Native community's heritage isn't widely taught in Bermuda.
No.
What are some of the most important ancestral stories or cultural truths that you feel are overlooked or misunderstood?
I would say the big one would be Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. People are still trying to, they're so used to it nowadays that, I just call it the Day of Thanks, because I'm thanking God for life, for my family, for my son. So I think when it comes to Thanksgiving, they don't really understand that it was tribes that were being massacred. Pequots, our whole tribe got wiped out. And they thanked God for giving them the victory of taking out an entire tribe. Those that survived, they moved on to other tribes or got put into slavery. And so I think that's one of those that really do stand out to me. I also support MMWI, which is a tribe, Native American tribe, where young children were also massacred and stripped of their culture. It's funny how people are like, oh, you guys were braids, or you go, ooh, but it's more to it. The children actually got their hair cut, and it really hurt me because I look at my son, and he's not getting his hair cut. But I couldn't imagine someone taking my son from me and then stripping him of his identity.
These stories, audience, are you familiar with the native heritage of St. David's Islanders? I just want to know from the audience, are you familiar with the stories and the tribes? I had someone I went to college with in Rhode Island who is from that area. I'm from St. David's and part of it, and their mother and brother used to come up and they would drive down to Connecticut and partake and the like. So that was my first real understanding. Again, going to county games was me knowing, but understanding of how deep the connection went was actually living in Rhode Island. Let's transition to the film now. So in Thoughts Become Things, you appear as the film's female native ancestor.
Yes.
What did stepping into that role mean to you personally and spiritually?
It was very emotional. It was extremely emotional for me. To the point where in the beginning, I didn't want to do it because of just the connection that you have. You're kind of stepping back into the olden days and connecting with, a family member, great-great-grandmother. And so to see that, to be, when we was dancing around the fire, to be in that space under the moon, it was very cloudy, so it was really, really pretty. And then with the fire just sparking, it just, I don't know, it was very emotional for me.
And for those on radio, we are speaking with Chelsea McNorton, St. David's Islander native community, and speaking about her connection with and role in the film Thoughts Become Things. Audience, if you have any questions or comments, you can send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. You said it was emotional, but how did you prepare for this portrayal? Were there specific traditions, teachings, or family connections you drew from to bring authenticity to the character?
For me, prayer. I always pray and ask God just for guidance, for help. Another thing is, in our culture, we burn sage, and that's just to get all the negativity away, to be one with your culture, one with your heritage. And then we also have our cedar, which is very nice. And so we normally burn the sage and we walk around and we just take it and just put it over us and be like, oh, bad energy, oh, nervousness, everything just put at cease.
Let's go to the audience. Well, before I go to the audience, one more question about the film. The film shows ancestors guiding and affirming the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
What message do you hope young St. David's Islanders take away from seeing their heritage honored on screen?
Let's keep our heritage alive. A lot of different tribes, it's not just the Pequot tribe. A lot of tribes are losing certain elements. One would be the language. I just hope that, even through my son, that he keeps the next generation alive, that we continue to let people know that we are here, we exist, and just teaching people our not rules, but our what's the word I'm looking for? Just keeping our culture alive and able to send it off to the next generation.
Let's go to the audience. And audience, I'll get through as many questions and comments as possible. We've got Rosalind Famous asking, what lessons can the general Bermuda population learn about preservation of culture from native St. David's Islanders?
We have a lot of lessons. It's so funny because every time we have the powwow, people learn so much about our culture. I could just invite you, just anybody, please come to the powwow. Please come support us. It's very nice. We're coming up with more and more ideas to invite the community. We invite other tribes from other nations to come to Bermuda, and they come and they dance with us, and it's very nice. Some of our dances are private, so we don't do a lot of cameras for certain traditional dance, but that's just our connection. And then we also honor those who've passed. We do a whole big reef. We get in line, we walk up to the reef, we say that the person's name that we want to honor that have passed on. At the end, we take it down to the water and we let it float. And it's very nice. I thoroughly enjoy it. Last year, I was able to call out my grandmother's name and also my friend Margaret Warren. So it just puts you at peace.
We've got Michael Daniels asking, have you ever been able to trace your ancestry?
I have. I actually went on ancestry.com. I know a lot of people is like, well, how do you really know? But you have faith. A lot of the connections I've talked to family members, and they've also ensured like, oh yeah, I have that person here in my book from like my grandmother wrote it down. So to be able to trace my ancestry back was very enlightening. I would advise anybody to trace their ancestry and get to know like who you are, where you come from, who lived before you, and understand that they had struggles and try and use their way of tackling that struggle in your today life. But I did try to get it's a blood certificate. And basically what that is that that's how your way to be a member within the Pequot tribe in Massachusetts.
Interesting. Okay. Here's a question. Sean Smith's asking, have you ever thought of changing your name to a native one?
Yes. Yes, I have. It was so nice one year. I met an elder, and only elders can really tell you your spiritual animal. And mine's is a wolf. And I thoroughly enjoyed that because just the meaning behind a wolf. They're as big and as broad as they are, they're very interesting. And that just wanted me to go deeper into finding my Native American name. I'm still on the hunt. But I did at one point want to change my name to something more cultural.
That sounds costly. But no, I get it. It's worth it. I have a question, totally unrelated.
Yes.
Charles H. Jeffs II is asking, is Chelsea a proponent of St. David's becoming the 10th parish? How can we help?
Yes. Yes. It's so funny because when I was little, I already thought that it was a parish. And so now that I'm grown and I'm like, St. George's, I'm like, huh? So yes, I am definitely all for it. I am even looking myself. So if anybody out there knows how to get that ball rolling, let me know. I will support. Um, because I mean, we're already called the other island, so it just makes sense, you know.
Chelsea, this has been incredible. But how do we elevate the conversations even more to the point where, you know, let's use Bermuda trivia. So we have this Bermuda trivia game, and people are fascinated because in Bermuda they feel like, well, we weren't taught Bermuda history, Black history, and obviously you're speaking today. We're not taught about St. David's Island and Native history. What can we do as a community to help? Thoughts Become Things is a great start, like in terms of like this is amazing. How can we elevate it to the point? One, we get people to watch films like Thoughts Become Things, but also get people to reach out and learn about it or get this into schools. What do we need to do to make this happen?
Well, first, I want to thank Stephen and Marks for definitely thinking of us. Like I said, we're very hidden, very under the radar. And so now my generation, me and my cousin Dominique, and other family members, of course, you know, the community, we're all family. So our family, we're really trying to upgrade. How can we now boost our community and let other people know? What's really nice about this short film is that he thought about us, and we're in it, and now people are now asking questions, and we're doing interviews. And I feel like this is one way to get the ball rolling of communication. Before I traveled, we were asked, we were honoring my uncle Brinky Tucker. And one of the schools in Bermuda, is it Montessori? No. Summersfield, thank you. Summersfield actually invited us, and we were able to dance for the kids. And one thing that was asked is, do we have any gumbays in the house? And a lot of the boys raised their hand. And it was so nice because they were able to see how our dance is very similar to the Gombe dance. And if we had more time, we would have asked the kids to, hey, come up, join us. My cousin Antoine Lugo, he's also in the film. And he also danced. And his regalia just speaks a lot of volume. It's so traditional. And so with schools asking us to come by, letting people know, like, hey, we have a Native American History Month. We also even have a day of mourning, which is Thanksgiving. And so just being invited and also going on platforms like this one, I feel will help us to just broaden everybody's knowledge more about our community.
Indeed. Well, one final question, because you made me think of something, right? We were talking with Erwin Trott about gumbays and performance. Sometimes, you know, people will feel like, oh, this is just entertainment. How do we balance that where we get people to understand this is not just about entertainment. This is about real history, culture, what you mentioned earlier, what our ancestors went through. How do you get them to understand the bigger picture here?
For me, I think how as a kid growing up, it was them talking about it, like giving a history lesson. Like when they used to come to my school, they would always say, oh yes, so the braid comes from the Native American community, the bow and arrow, the hatchet. and so many other that's a part of the regalia on the Gombe regalia. And so I just, that's something that needs to be discussed. I think planning that out, figuring out because it's not just us as Bermudians that need to know the history of Gombes. We have tourists that come to the island. And I remember one day for Harbor Nights, a tourist was like, oh yeah, they have this in Africa. And I had to let her know, like, yes, they do. They do, and they look similar, and give her the history of our Gombe. And so I think we definitely need to be in more conversation about how we can educate more people, and not just us, but the tourists that come to Bermuda as well. I feel like, and this is just me, other people may have their own thoughts, but for me, I feel like Bermuda, like, we need to push our culture. We have so many foreigners that come to the island, and they come, they live, they work, wonderful, but you got to know where you're living.
Yeah.
When I go to Hawaii, the first thing I see is the hula girls, and they give out all the information about, like, their dance is actually a story. I didn't even know that. So I personally feel like we need to push more of our culture out there. We need to have a lot more, so that way when people come, it's like, oh yeah, no, yes, they do have a African Gombe, but this is the Bermudian Gombe. This is something totally different. So as soon as you hop off that plane, that boat, the first thing that needs to be pushed is we are definitely individual. We're unique, and this is Bermuda, and this is what we represent.
I love the way you explain that, because there are different variations of so many different things, whether it's food, it's dances, and so many respects. To say that, oh, they have these in Africa, no, that's like saying they have chicken in the US and they have chicken in Canada. Two different kinds of chicken. You have jerk chicken in Jamaica, for instance. You have barbecue chicken in Texas. So we have to make this, we have to let people know the differences in our cultures and how we approach. We did. Go ahead.
We have a lot of young people that have amazing ideas. Like, I feel like we don't really give credit where credit is due. There's kids in schools. If you told them, hey, the project for this month is how do we go about Gombe history, right? Their ideas really need to be heard. Not just ours, but also the kids, because they have some amazing ideas. And I think the government really needs to hear them out and see how can we allow these kids' thoughts become pushed, and so they could see that, wow, you listened, and I'm actually seeing my whole dream, my whole thought process of how I wanted this to go in reality.
Yeah, indeed. Few final comments from the audience. Emmanuel John says, even though St. David's is not legally the 10th parish, it is widely understood by Bermudians.
Yes.
Chef II says, I asked that question because in a time when it feels like we're losing so much of our culture, making St. David's a parish, that could help to turn the tide and encourage all of us to preserve culture. And Ageless Wonder said, my great-great-grandmother was a fox from St. David's. I'd like to know more. So let people know where they can go, how they can reach out, or to learn more about maybe heritage that they're connected to.
So you can reach out to us on Facebook. the St. David's Islanders community, also Instagram. Or you could just find me on social media and I will give you definitely the contacts that you need. If you would like to help us out, my number is 705-6999. And I have no problem at all with helping people learn more about our culture and how you can help us to stay in the here and now. It's really sad that a lot of certain cultures are just fading away, but I am definitely determined to keep my culture alive. And my cousin, she makes all different types of Native American things. And if we could do like a art show or something like that, we're so down for it. So anyway, any thoughts you have, any ideas, we welcome it all.
Yeah, this was the point I was making earlier as well. Rashida Godwin said it. There's a push for the creative side of the culture, but not the intellectual side and historical side of the culture. And much work still needs to be done on that. And that's the point I was trying to make, how people look at the dancing and so on. And they love it. But then when they find out the history of their ancestors and what they done to, it's like they're not interested. So it's that balance. I agree.
Yes.
We have one last question. I forgot. Rosalind Famous is asking, where can we watch the movie? This is the link, but it's on YouTube. But is it SJD World?
You just type in Thoughts Become Things Bermuda on Google or YouTube. And it will come up. Also, just to let you know, we have a following up film. It's called Decoding Thoughts, and it'll be coming out December, like around Boxing Day. And that's basically, and I really want everybody to watch it because it really breaks down the whole film. So if you saw the film, I mean, I've watched it over 1 million times, just because it's just so inspirational. And just want to thank Stefan and Marks Rodriguez because they actually lit a fire in not just me, but in other people of my family. And that's actually got us like, yo, you saw the film, we're out there. Let's push our culture even more. That's our opportunity to push more. So, you can find us on YouTube. Please watch the short film. It's only 6 minutes. So you guys, I even asked staff, I was like, can you make it longer? 6 minutes is too short. I need it way longer because it was so inspiring. And so I'm hoping that they come up with another one. I really do. But Decoding Thoughts is also so inspirational. You guys will see a lot of our history, a lot of our culture, and our thoughts on the film.
Indeed. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank
wish you and your family a great holiday season. And
yes.
Don't be a stranger. Wish you all the best.
I won't.
Chelsea
Have a wonderful day.
You as well. Thanks much. Chelsea McNorton, folks. If you appreciated that conversation and you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back. And don't forget, we've got a daily play for you before we let you go on your way.
Warning, this video contains flashing lights.
Oh yeah, just getting her? We've been doing this all along.
Free sign-up, no dimensional weight, the fastest customs clearance, and the lowest prices. Now, that's ZipX.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazoc Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to Chelsea McNorton. Thoughts Become Things, folks. You can find it on YouTube. I enjoyed the film. I've enjoyed everyone, who has stopped by to discuss it. Talk about that in a bit. But if you appreciate the conversation and discussion so far, and you're streaming with us, do us that favor, help us beat the algorithm, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, family, colleagues. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can do this with you on a regular basis and pump through the period with these most important community conversations. Folks, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. All editions now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, are you ready? It's holiday trivia today, not Bermuda. And it's another easy one. Folks, what Christmas decoration was originally made from strands of silver? All right, there we go. Tinsel. I thought that was easy. I thought everyone would get it. Ageless Wonder got it. Nope, not the wreath. Showing that it was Tinsel NTS and Tinsel Michelle Grant, Tinsel Charles H. Jefferson, Tinsel Julie, Tinsel Stacey Brown. All right, that was easy. I knew you all would get it. Tinsel. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. As far as the discussion this morning, I don't know what more there is that needs to be said. We need help. And the help that we need is going to be something within. We have to make better decisions. And if we don't believe that we're able to make them on our own, then we need to seek or believe or allow help to come within. We are losing too many people, too many lives being changed because of poor decisions. Respect for self, respect for others. That's literally all it will take to change the way you are. Let's do better. Let's live better. As far as the conversation with Chelsea, I'm excited when I see local projects like this come along. When we have the opportunity to share who we are and what we love. I really hope that this is one of many to come, and that Bermudians support this. One of the ways to keep a culture alive and growing and thriving is to support it, is to learn about it. That leaves me with your daily inspiration. And it comes from, well, my upcoming book. And I'm going to tie it into today's discussion and our daily focus with Chelsea. Because I don't believe that it's anyone else's responsibility to do for us what we can do for ourselves. So it's important to treat yourself better than anyone else ever will. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a regular basis and pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please make it a great, a safe, and a great day. Is out. Peace.